So the reading response process that my students go through is based upon the data that I collect early on in the year, whether it is PM data or the DRA assessment. So using that data, I then decide on the type of book for instructional level that they need for their programming. So for Victoria, she's reading at about a 23, 22, but comprehension sometimes is a little bit lower. So I chose the book Lost in the Museum today because it does have some challenging parts for her and is meeting her needs right now, which is working on word parts and chunking. So she read that book today, and I just chose the first 2 pages to kind of give her a little snippet of what the book is to come. And then I recorded her on the iPad and then have uploaded that to her Halton Cloud account. So each student has a folder in which they have their videos and then their reading response. So then the students, and some of them are doing that even right now, are watching their videos and watching themselves as a reader, which for so many kids is the first time that they've done that. And it's really inspiring and insightful for them to go, wow, look what I do. This is incredible. Or wow, I really need to talk louder. So it's pretty amazing to see the kids do that. We've come up with as a class 5 questions that they need to respond to. So they talk about their strengths as a reader, and that's based off of our reading strategies wall. So they're using our crafty strategies to define what they're doing really well as a reader. And then they decide on what are some of my next steps? What are some of the things I need to work on? And then our class has been really focusing on retelling stories and asking questions. So those are the other areas that they focus on in their reading response. Once they're finished their reading response, then they get to have a reading coach. So they meet with another student who has read a completely different book, and they show their video and they show off their reading response. And then their coach acts like a coach and says to them, you know, this is what you did really well, or this is something that you could work on. And it's been really good for the kids because it's allowed, you know, a community building aspect in the classroom, and they understand this whole reading continuum. So the students have been coaching each other. After they've had the opportunity to coach each other, then they come and meet with me. And then we have a reading conference to talk about what they have done and what their next steps are. So for Victoria, we kind of come up with a reading bookmark of 2 things that they need to work on. So in Victoria's last conference, we talked about chunking and stopping at periods. And then she uses this bookmark as she reads in the classroom and that she reads at home. So it's a constant reminder of what are the 2 things that I need to work on. After our conference, I send a letter home to the parents to kind of explain what has happened, and the kids love this part because they get to show off their reading to their families. They show the video, they show their conference page with me and their reading response, and then their parents give them feedback. And it's this whole continuous feedback loop that the kids have now watched themselves read 5 or 6 times. And I've just noticed their confidence, their reading strategies, and their interest in reading has grown.